Since many of our beliefs are based on what other people tell us, either in writing or on TV or by the words of mouth, the critical thinker needs to know who to believe and in what circumstances. Hello, my name is Not and I will be presenting about judging the credibility of the sources skillfully. In this video, I am going to cover 5 main questions which you may need to ask to skillfully judge the credibility of the sources. 1. Questions about the person or source. 2. Question about the circumstance or context in which the claim is made. 3. Questions about the justification a source offers in support of the claim. 4. Questions about the nature of the claim. And last but not least, is there corroboration from other sources? Okay, so you might be wondering, hey, what's all this question about? Well, I am going to break it down for you one by one, all 5 of them. Now let's begin with questions about person or source. There are 4 things you need to know about the person or source whose credibility you wish to judge. The first thing you need to know about them is, do they have the relevant expertise? Expertise here refers to experience, knowledge, and perhaps formal qualification. As you know, having background experience and knowledge does not guarantee that a person will be right about something. It only helps to make the person's statement more credible. Therefore, that person is at least in a position to make accurate statements. Just like how the theory of relativity by Albert Einstein is more credible than other theories by random people on the internet because he is a theoretical physicist. Up next, do they have the ability to observe accurately? The ability to observe things accurately can include various things like eyesight, hearing, proximity to the event, the absence of distractions, appropriate instrument. For example, if a witness have a problem with their eyesight, hearing, or that their proximity to the event is quite far, or if there is a distraction happen while the event happened, or they were wearing an earphone during the event, then we can conclude that their statement is deemed uncredible. Moving on to the next question, does their reputation suggest they are reliable? Closely related to the question of expertise, the reputation of someone is often very important in deciding whether or not to accept what he or she says. Albert Einstein is widely acknowledged to be one of the greatest physicists, therefore, his physics theory is deemed credible. Vice versa, if he is to talk about how to be a successful businessman, his statement would then be deemed less credible. Lastly, does the source have a vested interest or bias? In general, the credibility of an informant is weakened if they appear to have an incentive to do something other than simply telling the truth. For example, if they would gain by doing something else or lose by telling the truth. Sometimes people are paid to say certain things, like how some beautiful clear-skinned influencer is paid to promote a beauty product. Now, let us move on to the next question. Questions about circumstances or context in which the claim is made. The same claim might be made in a very different circumstances or context, which result in different credence. For instance, a boy is praised for being good at math in school, and a boy is praised for being good at math in a math competition. This gives different credence to his ability in solving math. Just like how an evidence from a court is more credible than the claim that made in gossip papers. Question 3. Questions about the justification a source offers in support of the claim. If someone can offer no justification for what they claim, then one has little reason to take it seriously or to give it any credence. But if they can give reasons, grounds, or evidence, then this will often affect the decision as to whether it is reasonable to believe. Even though there are justifications for a claim, you still need to make assessment before deciding the credibility for this kind of justification. You need to consider 4 things. 1. Eyewitness X versus she told me X. In this case, something that you witnessed yourself is more credible than something that you've heard from someone. 2. Primary versus secondary source. It's pretty similar to the previous section. The primary source is the original source of the information, while the secondary source could be the recreation of the original source or another secondary source.
I'm gay.
He said he's gay. Oh my glob, he does it with man.
As you have seen in the example, the primary source is the original source, while the secondary source tend to recreate the original source. Sometimes the change is so relevant that the secondary source becomes less credible. 3. Direct evidence versus circumstantial evidence. A direct evidence is an evidence by eyewitness giving direct support to the claim. In contrast, circumstantial evidence is a relevant facts from the claim that could infer the claim. For instance, a man run from the crime scene with a weapon in his hand is circumstantial evidence. Nobody sees the man kill someone, but the fact that the man carries the weapon out from the crime scene infer he killed someone. Now let us move to the last part, justifying a claim by direct reference to the credibility consideration. One sometimes justify their own claim by considering the 5 credibility questions, so we must make sure their justification is credible.
Example.
ស្វាគមន៍មកកាន់វគ្គទី 3 ជាបន្តទៀតវគ្គទី 3 នេះសូមផ្ដើមតាក់ទងជាមួយនឹងករណីខ្យល់កន្ត្រាក់ដូចជាខ្យល់ខ្លាំងមែនទែនកាលពីម្សិលមិញនៅក្នុងរាជធានីភ្នំពេញកាលពីពេលរសៀលនឹងក្តៅខ្លាំងចេះតែឆ្ងល់ឃើញខាងក្រសួងឧតុនិយមលោកបានប្រកាសឲ្យតាក់ទងជាមួយនឹងមានភ្លៀងធ្លាក់បាទពីបង្គួរទៅច្រើនហើយតំបន់ខ្លះក៏មានខ្យល់កន្ត្រាក់ឬក៏ភ្លៀងលាយឡំជាមួយនឹងខ្យល់ផងដែរប៉ុន្តែពេលមកដល់មក6ជាងបាទ6ជាង7ម៉ោង7នេះមកប្រាវនឹងទុកខ្លួនចង់ជាប់ទេមុខផ្ទះមុខអីហ្នឹងសង្កសីបងប្អូនប្រជាពលរដ្ឋអីហ្នឹងបោកបាក់បោករ៉ាក់ពេញតំណឹងហើយឃើញថានេះជារូបភាពដែលក្រុមការងារខាងយើងមុនដំបូងហ្នឹងគឺអត់ទាន់មានទឹកភ្លៀងទេចលយកមកទៅហឹងហ្មង
As you have seen, the host of the news was trying to justify his claim by saying what he witnessed, saying that it's hot, and he also used the credibility of the Minister of Water and Meteorology as a corroboration. And lastly, he used the video from his crew as a direct evidence. His justification may seem exceptionally credible, but let's take a look at the weather forecast of May 6, 2021. The average temperature is only 34 Celsius, which is not that hot compared to the temperature we had on the 2nd May. which is 35 Celsius. Just like what you predict, sometimes people make justification just so it supports the claim in question, and they seem more believable. Always make sure that the justification is credible. The next question about the nature of the claim. You need to question yourself, is it very unlikely given all the things we know, or is it very easy to believe? If someone told you the earth is flat before Christopher Columbus explored the earth, it is very likely that you believe what they say, given the things you know. And if someone told you the earth is round, then you would think they are crazy. But of course, the earth is round now that we know the journey to north is a journey around the world. In short, the more unlikely it is that some claim is true given what else we know, the less credibility and the more we shall need persuading before we believe it. 2. Is it a basic observation, statement, or inferred judgment? This is an important question. There is a distinction between I saw the man walk out of the crime scene with a weapon and I saw the man kill someone. In the latter statement, the speaker is going beyond what he actually saw and is inferring that the man's action amounted to murder. The last example is their corroboration from other sources. A corroboration is the evidence that confirms the claim. For an evidence to be corroborative, it must be independent and credible, and it must also support the claim in question. In the last part of the literature, Romeo and Juliet, Friar Lawrence witnessed Romeo and Paris' dead bodies while calling out to Juliet to come out with him because he had heard footsteps. Nevertheless, Juliet did not follow him. As he left alone, terrified, Juliet then killed herself with a knife. Moving on to the next scene, Friar Lawrence came forward to solve the mystery of the death. He claimed that he will be proof that Romeo and Juliet is husband and wife and that he married them on the day of Tybalt's doom days, therefore punishing Romeo. He went on to explain how Juliet had backed him to help her and how they devised a plan whereby she could escape from the second marriage and flee secretly to Manchu with Romeo, but the whole plot failing miserably because Friar John had been prevented from traveling to Manchu with Friar Lawrence's letter to Romeo. Now the question is, if you were the prince or both the parents of Romeo and Juliet, would you believe what he claimed or would you not? Now let us begin judging the credibility of Friar Lawrence's claim according to the 5 questions that we've learned. 1. Friar Lawrence does not have the expertise in solving crime, however, he is not biased. He has a reputation for doing good deeds toward both Romeo and Juliet. And if he were to be biased, he wouldn't have told the plan he devised. 2. Friar Lawrence's claim was made outside of the vault with the gathering of the prince and the head of the 2 families. 3. Friar Lawrence is an eyewitness of both the marriage and the death. He is the primary source. 4. His claim is believable given we knew about the 2 family feud, and he never inferred that who killed who. Instead, he explained his plan and how it failed. 5. Balthazar also come up and corroborate with Friar Lawrence's claim by saying he is the one who told Romeo about the death of Juliet.